Hello and welcome to the Golden Hour, a content series from us here at the Horizon League. I'm Rachel White here with
Alivia Dieterlen from College Sports Communicators.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us today, Alivia. Talk a little bit about your background and what your current role is with CSC.
Yeah, at CSC, I'm our Assistant Director of Communications and Creative Content. So I'm in charge of everything social media, website, email promotions, graphics, video. It's kind of a wide range. And I actually used to work at the Horizon League, and it's pretty along the same lines of what I did with the Horizon League.
Yeah, for sure. So talked a little bit about your role. Obviously, your time here at the Horizon League, you did creative content, which Bridget, our podcast producer, does a lot of that stuff for us now. Tell me just more about College Sports Communicators and the benefits that you all provide to your membership.
Yeah, so we are a professional member association for people who work in college sports communications and creative fields. So that's your SIDs, that's videographers, photographers, anyone who works in the athletics department in the creative sphere, like you and Bridget, are members of CSC, and it's a place where you guys can network, grow professionally. We have professional development throughout the year, in addition to our annual convention. And on top of that, we also have great programs like the mentorship program and the inclusion fellowship and a bunch of different amazing awards that we give out every year for both just being outstanding in the profession and in the work that you're doing. And then we have creative aspects where it's the photographer of the year, the videographer of the year.
What are some ways, obviously, you mentioned some programs that you can kind of be involved with on like sort of the front end or forward facing, but there's also a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes where you have members that are helping to put on these things. So how can people get more involved with those?
Yeah, so we have a small staff of 5. So we are mainly volunteer-led. We have an amazing board of people who are volunteering their time to come and help organize everything. And then we also have a ton of committees and cabinets. And you're on the Division I cabinet. Yes. So a lot of people can get involved by joining a committee. I run the New Media Committee and the Career Services and Young Professionals Committee. So people can join those committees and help make content throughout the year, help create some of the professional development programming we're doing, and then also bring their insight from their backgrounds because we cover a ton of different divisions. We also do NAIA, 2-year schools, conference level. So it's a wide range. And then if maybe you're not ready for that sort of commitment of joining a committee or a cabinet, you could actually participate in something. You could nominate someone for 30 under 30. You could submit your work for one of our awards. And that in itself is getting involved in putting yourself out there.
Yeah, there's so many different ways. You mentioned like I joined the cabinet and then through that someone was like, would you help judge the Fred Stabley writing contest? Then you get involved with that. Now I'm helping judge 30 under 30 as part of the cabinet. So it's really cool to your point. There's a lot of ways you can get involved by nominating people and participating, but then also helping with some of the planning and putting things on. So super cool. A lot of opportunities. It's a great way to meet people throughout the industry, kind of help you network and stuff too. So very cool. Obviously, I know your background a little bit education-wise, so talk a little bit about kind of what you studied and what you were involved with when you were a college student.
Yeah, I went to Indiana University, and it was funny because when I was there, I started being a student worker for our Big Ten Student U broadcasts and also the PBS and NPR station there. So I was directing, I was being a camera operator, I was producing behind-the-scenes stuff, and I did that for not only like IU events in the PBS shows that we were doing there, but I did it for all of the sporting events. And when I was there, I was like, this is fun here and I'm really enjoying it, but I'll probably never end up working in sports. And then COVID hit when I was graduating. And that's how I kind of ended up at the Horizon League. I was applying, looking for jobs in like social media and marketing because that was my education and my background. And that's how I kind of got into the world of sports.
Very cool. And now you're kind of stuck in it in a way. It's like kind of in a different angle. You don't work too many events, but you work with people who work in sports. So definitely a little connection there. How do you feel that kind of all those experience that you had kind of being a student worker kind of propelled you into your career? Maybe like what are some skills that you kind of developed through that?
I feel like definitely in the sports world, a lot of it is you have to be really good at speaking with other people, meeting a ton of people, networking, and growing your network. And working at IU and doing that work and getting to meet a ton of new people and then learning how to train other people, that was super important. It made me more confident and there was tons of skills. Like I didn't know how to do camera operation. I didn't know how to be a technical director or a director. And I kind of just had to go in and learn that. And I was able to apply that to what I'm doing now. And like, yes, I had a lot of great experiences going to the media school, learning all of the skills that I've been able to apply to my job.
Yeah.
But then it's also pairing with that the soft skills.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. You kind of need both to succeed. So some of them are a little easier learned or taught to you by other people, and others you just kind of have to experience and hope you kind of get better as you develop through that. What advice would you have for our current student athletes, kind of how to take advantage of the opportunities they may have on campus right now?
Yeah, there's tons. If you want to get into athletics, definitely reaching out to your athletics department. If you're into comms and that communications team, they're always open and looking for student workers, graduate positions, internships. Getting into that and finding yourself a mentor, finding a way that you can grow some of these skills I've seen it's really applied to people who are CSC members who are trying to get to different positions. They might start as a student worker here, but maybe the SID, the communicator who's there, knows someone at a different school that is looking and hiring. So when they graduate, there's an opportunity there because they've made that connection.
Yeah, and I feel like in the creative field too, sometimes the experience is like, if you don't know how to do something, like just try it. Try to teach yourself. I know even Bridget still today probably uses some YouTube tutorials or texts other people like, how the heck did you do this? I'm trying to figure it out. So a lot of those kind of opportunities too to talk to people when you're on a college campus.
There's also the opportunity too, if your school has an all-in membership and you're a student worker there, they can add you to their membership. So you can join our network, join the Slack communities we have. We have CSC Women, and that's a group that gets together and they network and they talk about working in the profession. So you can get connected, especially if your school has an all-in membership.
Yeah, those all-in memberships are super nice. We have one in the office because we routinely have a fellow every year and graduate students every year. So it just kind of helps to be able to give them kind of full access to everything that CSC has to offer. Mm-hmm. Super great. Now, I know you have a lot of interests and hobbies outside of your time at CSC, so tell us a little bit about some of those.
I'm a woman of many talents.
Naturally.
Right now, we're working on a house renovation. So we've been completely renovating it. We weren't able to move in right away, so we had to do all the work ourselves. Yep. Basically, I've hired out for a couple things, but like a lot of that is learning how to do DIY stuff and like replacing cabinets and putting up backsplash and tiling floors. So that's like part of what's taking over my life right now.
Yeah.
The other side of it is I do a lot of creative stuff. I'm creative in my job and I like to be creative in my personal life as well. So crafting, doing DIYs, and then I'm an author and I've written 5 books, so I just had one come out.
5 books, that's quite a few. I've only read 2 of her books, so I'm slacking a little bit, but I'll catch up. Very impressive. Do you feel like that just kind of pairs along with your job in terms of like just kind of that creativity, like you like to do it in work, but then you can kind of express it in other outlets outside?
Yeah, so I started writing in middle school, and I was writing novellas, short stories, and then high school was when I started publishing. And I feel like I've always had that sort of creative drive. I want to tell a story. Yeah. And in my job, in marketing, in communications, you're telling stories. When I was at the Horizon League, it was telling the stories of the student athletes and teams. Now at CSC, I'm telling the stories of our members. So I think it plays a big role in what I'm doing. Is I learned how to tell a story growing up.
Yeah.
And I've kept that passion, and I can still do it outside of work because my stories are fictional and I'm having fun with that. And then at work, I can use that to tell stories about our members.
Yeah, that's such a good point, really. Storytelling continues to kind of be at the forefront of what we do in communications, whether that's evolved from just, your straight press releases to now a lot more creative things with graphics, video. But at the end of the day, we're trying to tell a story and have people understand it and connect to it. So it makes total sense to me. Opportunity here if you'd like to plug where we could find your books, if anyone watching is interested in learning more about your creativity.
Yes, it's my same last name, Dieterlen. I go by my middle name for my books, so Lita, Lita, Dieterlen. And you can find those on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and then in person in Danville, Indiana at the Author's Patch if you live in Indiana.
Very exciting. Any other hobbies? I know you do some game day stuff for the Colts, so keeping a little bit of that sports back. Anything else you wanted to kind of tell our viewers about?
Yeah, I do work for the Colts, and I do that kind of freelance style whenever they need me. So I might pop in here or there. I actually started that when I was at IU. Yeah. They reached out to me because I did camera for the IU football team. And so they reached out, and then I've been doing that for 7 years now. On the CSC side, if you're a student athlete or a coach, you've probably heard of the Academic All-America program.
Yes.
We run that. CSC is in charge of that. We run that. All of our amazing volunteers make that happen. So there's the plug for that. We'll be starting nominations for the Academic All District here soon this fall. So if you're not a member and you want to make sure that your student athletes are nominated, your SIDs, your communicators are in charge of nominating your student athletes. So make sure that they're members and that their membership is renewed so they can help honor the student athletes.
Yeah, that's such an awesome program to see, like, all the accomplishments of the student athletes and all the people that end up get chosen for the All-America team. It's really impressive. So definitely a good point there. Always good. So many benefits we talked about with College Sports Communicators membership. Okay, Olivia, we have one final question for you. Okay. So this is how we do start, bench, cut. So you kind of rank 3 things. They're always like sort of random topics, but I know you're very passionate about writing and books. So I'm thinking we do physical book, audio book, or an ebook. Like, how do you kind of feel about that as an author and a reader?
This is so hard because I didn't used to be an audiobook person.
Okay.
But I have been mainly listening to audiobooks now because it's so nice. Like, I'll be mowing the lawn or like going on a walk. I can listen to it now. Yeah. So before I would have probably cut that. But, okay. I really love a good physical book. I have a collection. I'm building my library at home.
Okay. Very nice.
So I'm going to start that.
Okay.
I'm going to bench audiobooks. And I am going to cut ebooks. Okay. Only because you don't have, like, the trophy of showing that you read something.
That's a good point. Yeah, there's no, like, physical, like, gratification at the end. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a physical book person all day long. Like, I just don't do the other ones. So, wonderful. Well, once again, I'm Rachel White here with
Alivia Dieterlen.
Thanks for joining us on the Golden Hour. Be sure to follow us at Horizon League on social media for all the latest news and updates.